really looked at how Airbnb didn't really replace your house. COCO isn't going to replace your office either. And where we're going out for vacations, same thing when we go to work. And so part of what we want to solve at COCO is having to work in coffee shops. And so once we leave our office, we've got a really great office, you go to the other side of town, and then what do? You've got 2 hours, you've got to try to find a Starbucks, you've got to try to find a space to work. And so what we wanted to do was solve two sides of the problem. So not only do we have workers that need to find a space to work while they're out, and co-working was kind of that first disruption, and now we have go-working. We also have property owners that have space that's either empty or underused, and there's no way for those two to find themselves. Additionally, we also have a big age gap in disparity, and so while co-working is very socially advanced, those users, those owners of those co-working spaces are also very technologically slow to adopt. And so a lot of the co-working spaces are using archaic software. They're using spreadsheets to calendar. They're not very advanced looking on their technology. And then you have property owners who are also in an age demographic where they're not very technologically savvy. So we're going to try to bridge that gap between the two. We are very early stages in our project. We've just finished the prototype, and I'll show you some slides of that. We've got that. And then, and I'm going to try to go really fast. So if this is interesting to you guys, come find me later. Find me on LinkedIn. What we're finding in our research is this isn't just a problem in Salt Lake City. I'm going to just lose the mic. Excellent. Oh, then I can't walk around. All right, there's no wiggling. Okay. So what we're finding is this isn't just a problem in Salt Lake City. This isn't just a problem in Las Vegas. This is a problem globally. And worldwide, there are 2.3 million users right now, and there are only 17,000 spaces solving this problem for them. WeWork has raised $4 billion to try to solve that problem. And again, while that is solving the everyday office, there isn't anyone solving what happens once you leave your WeWork space. That co-working environment has grown 16% over the last 4 years that they've been tracking it. And so you have workers that right now are trying to solve this in Starbucks. And Starbucks is only 34% of the market, but their numbers are very vast when you look at how many workers are in there. They're trying to find a space to work, let alone what they're doing for meetings. And so while WeWork is solving part of the problem, they're still hemorrhaging a vast amount of money. They showed revenues of $700 million in the first half of last year, but they also showed negative gains. And so while they're trying to solve that by adding more property, purchasing more property, there still is this huge subset of the market that isn't being solved. So what we want to do is create a scenario where we're solving that globally. So one token with all the offices, but how we're trying to go about it is iterating for the end user. Because we know that most of our users have no idea what crypto is. So even though we're going to solve a lot of these challenges technologically, most of our users are going to have no idea that the underlying platform is blockchain, that there's cryptocurrency working inside of it. So we've really tried to iterate for the end users, big, easy screens. That's just kind of the prototype, and I've got it. I can show it to you up close. But this is Vegas. So if you've just had to check out of your room this morning and you've got work that you need to do, you have a presentation you want to work on, you want to go ahead and have a meeting or a webcast, you've got to try to figure that out in the hotel lobby. Now you don't even have your hotel room to use. What if you could pull up an app and you could find a bunch of COCO locations within walking distance? And these are currently properties that a property owner has that are underused. So it's a conference room that they have to have, but they're only using it 6 hours out of the week. Or this is an accountant who has to have 12 desks from December 31st to April 15th, but on April 16th, she's got a huge amount of office space. That space can be generating revenue. So there's one other player in this organization. We have the property owners, and we have the workers. And because those property owners are busy, they're running properties, they have a lot of management that goes on with that, they're also not very technologically savvy. So what we've also introduced is a scenario where, as a miner, I can go in and I can find a property that I want listed. I can do everything from taking photos, writing up a description, cataloging the amenities that are there. I can submit it, and then once the property owner goes in, verifies that they agree that those are the pictures they want, the property they want listed, they approve that listing, then not only does the property owner's empty space start generating revenue immediately, but the miner that went ahead and listed it is also going to get paid for that. So we have a lot of components in that. Our team is very business savvy, very deep in their verticals. They have over 2 years of experience, whether it's commercial office, marketing, or business ownership. And we are very early stages, so right now we're looking for angel funding. The prototype is done. We look to have the platform done in the next 2 months. We're gonna beta test it in Salt Lake City, and then we were actually talking to several of the guys in Puerto Rico. I think this is gonna go global very quickly because of the mining component, and we can add users on there very good. The white paper has revenue generation. There's 4 different streams of revenue that are in this, and we can go into that a little bit deeper. That's about it. If you guys want questions, happy to answer any. Yes. So we're going to do a very limited security token offering that'll be a revenue share. And then we're not gonna do an ICO, we're just gonna do a private sale. Because we can have the platform live so quickly, we really wanna do a small raise to get us to where we can pilot this, get those solutions answered, and then it'll immediately go into a true utility token, because those users are buying to use the platform, but that token's gonna work in the background. Most of these users are not gonna have any idea. It's gonna look like Audible and credits.
Do I also use the app? It's like, is it just like Uber, like where I'm the Uber driver, I get on the same app and I'm on one side of it? Or are you like gonna go out like a kind of hotels kind of tonight app and make sure that the hotels are solid or they're clean or whatever it is?
Because of our research that we've done on the age demographic for property owners, we have a full web portal because it's gonna be easier to upload photos, edit those photos, and so we really wanna kind of cater to, I know whoever's renting and working is gonna be working 100% off the app. The owners will have that same ability, but we really wanna push them to the web portal. We think it's gonna be a better user experience for them. So the owners will have the option to do either way, and then miners will mostly be in the app.
Okay, thanks.
So you mentioned property owners and property owners and the people who are going to be using the
They've lasted for 3 days, those good little mics.
So you talk about the property owners and the people who are going to be co-locating for the day or whatever, or time sharing. Most businesses rent their space. They're not the owners. So in other words, if I've got a 5,000 square foot office and I'm an accountant and I've got the 12 empty desks, but it's owned by Trizec, my terms and condition, my list may say that I can't sublet, or if I have a sublet, I have to share the profits. How do you deal with that issue?
We think it's gonna look a lot like Airbnb. You have a lot of HOAs that have the same thing, that you're not about to sublease. What we wanna set up for us as COCO is the ability that we become almost that sublet in there to add a layer of security. We're gonna see a lot of changes with this, and this is why we have a guy on the board as a founder, who's been in commercial real estate for 15 years. Because we're seeing so much property ownership move to the blockchain, I think we're gonna see that with leases as well. And so we see that as a challenge, but we also think we're gonna be able to find our way with blockchain, with the security, with the transparency of that we'll be able to mitigate some of those issues.
Thank you.
Anybody else have a question?
Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. All right, we're back to the panel.